At times, life can feel like it goes on and on forever. At others, life feels like it passes by in the blink of an eye. But, whether the days and years seem to drag on or race past, there are always markers along the way. We are all familiar with society's traditional markers of success and accomplishment, such as reaching the voting age, getting your driver's license and first car, graduating, getting married, becoming a parent, purchasing your first home, and retiring. However, society has evolved, and fewer people choose to marry, have kids, or pursue formal education. Many people may never have enough money to buy their own home, and retirement is no longer the sure safety net it once was. How can we gauge our development and success as adults without these formerly common indicators? This video covers some of the essential milestones in life and the rich life lessons they have to teach us. Number 1. Getting and cashing your first paycheck. Getting and cashing your first paycheck is incredibly exciting. Regardless of the amount, you have worked for it, earned it, and get to cash and spend it however you like. No other paycheck will fill you with pride and accomplishment, no matter how large. Of course, as the first excitement diminishes, most of us are forced to face the harsh reality of how expensive everything costs. However, we may ideally learn responsibility, financial planning, and debt management by working for our own money. Earning and using our own money can reveal a lot about our priorities in life. Number 2. Leaving home. Most people experience mixed emotions when they leave home. Of course, we are thrilled to finally live independently of our parents' rules, constraints, and limits. But we are likely also more than a little frightened and unsure of our ability to survive without the comfort and security that comes with being a child under those parental wings. We get the chance to learn the important lessons of hard work, money management, including having to pay for heat, and appreciation for our parents and family as the reality of leaving home comes in. Number 3. Falling in love and getting your heart broken for the first time. The various forms of love we are fortunate to experience throughout our lives will hopefully deepen and grow with us. Still, nothing compares to the intense and absolute euphoria of first love. Through our first love, we learn what it means to appreciate and focus on someone other than ourselves, and if we are lucky, we get to experience how it feels to have someone appreciate and love us in return. Of course, falling in love also opens us to the possibility of heartbreak, and the first time we experience it can be a pretty painful and sobering shock. But as with every life experience, there are gifts to be had in a broken heart, realizing you can and will overcome difficulties, and that time truly does heal all wounds. Number 4. Making a major purchase. Once you have saved up enough of those paychecks, you can make your first major purchase. It might be a brand new car or a flat-screen TV. Those major purchases, especially your first one, are big milestones because they indicate financial independence. You are no longer dependent on others to get the things you want and need, and you can start making even more of your own decisions in life. Number 5. Gaining self-awareness and autonomy. Gaining self-awareness and autonomy is a big one, though often it comes in incremental revelations rather than a lightning bolt of sudden understanding. It comes in those moments when we realize we have dreams, interests, and passions that are different from what our parents and society expect. Or when we become aware of a value or belief that does not match those of our peers and that we did not know existed within us. Self-awareness also occurs when we suddenly realize that we care less about how we look or what clothes we are wearing and more about who we are and how we feel. If we are lucky, we will reach this burgeoning self-awareness in our 20s. But for some, it comes later in life as a result of a painful event like divorce, losing a job, illness, or injury, as a sudden realization that they are not living the life they want, or as an urge to reinvent themselves in some significant way. This is often coined as a midlife crisis. Self-awareness is a never-ending unfolding of truth as it relates to our experience in life. Number 6. Surviving disappointment. Everyone's got to go through this one for the first time. And it can be highly unpleasant to those raised to believe they are only destined for happiness and success. When we experience the sting of disappointment as adults, the experience often comes with a degree of lost innocence or naivety. We may have been led to believe that life would be easy or that we would only experience good things by simply being good people. And life is mostly easy and good. But not everything will turn out how we hoped or planned, and sometimes bad things happen to very good people. When we first learn this through some significant disappointment, for example, not getting that job we wanted, not making the team, or not catching the eye of the person we adore, it can feel as though the whole world is suddenly against us, and that nothing can be counted on. Experiencing disappointment is life's way of teaching us to go with the flow and roll with the punches instead of expecting perfection or trying to control everything and everyone around us. It also teaches us that we are more than the sum of our accomplishments. Number 7, realizing your parents are real people. It is quite a shock to realize that those people whose sole purpose you believe to be taking care of you suddenly reveal themselves to be actual, whole individuals with hopes, dreams, and fears of their own. It can be confusing or disappointing for some to see their parents in this new light. But unfortunately, we tend to put our parents on a pedestal and view them as perfect or even godlike. When we become adults, and we see our parents making mistakes, failing, or experiencing illness, it can shake our foundation and make us suddenly feel vulnerable and far too grown up. Equally valuably, we may abruptly realize that our parents were not simply put on this earth to care for and cater to us, they have their own complex and private lives that do not involve us at all. This can teach us an appreciation for all they have done for us and remind us to do for them in return. Number 8, experiencing a different culture. Our first experience with an entirely different culture from ours often comes from traveling outside our home country. But it can also come about as a result of moving to a big city from a small town or vice versa, or spending time with a family of a different ethnic or religious background from ours, or even going to a different part of our own city that perhaps we never knew existed. However, we first experience a way of life significantly different from our own. We are forever changed by it if we remain open to it. We gain perspective and appreciation for our own culture and environment, develop understanding, tolerance, and compassion for those different from ourselves, and become inspired by new possibilities for how to live our lives. Number 9, doing something that terrifies us. When we face a lifelong fear, for example, skydiving, traveling alone, singing on stage, or speaking in public, we gain invaluable personal power and strength of character in the form of courage, will, confidence, and self-respect. People who have overcome significant trauma or illness and who have been able to turn it into a positive life lesson also report these same gains. And it need not be something huge to reap these rewards. Even doing one small thing each day that pushes us outside our comfort zone will net huge short-term and long-term benefits. Number 10, dealing with the death of a loved one. We must all face this at one time or another in our lives, and the first time is always particularly challenging and life-altering. Whether it is the loss of a beloved goldfish in early childhood, or the deeper grief of losing a spouse, parent, child, or family pet in our adult years, our first brush with death on this level can be extremely traumatic as we grapple with larger questions of our own mortality, the impermanence of life, and accepting the unknown. Number 11, failing. Experiencing a critical or momentous failure is a life-changer for almost everyone. Getting fired from a job we loved, the unwanted ending of a marriage or long-term relationship, not getting into that prestigious university program, or failing to cut our chosen field of the arts, sports, or entertainment can be devastating. When we are forced to accept an outcome we did not want or choose despite our best efforts, it can feel as though we are not good enough. But if we are courageous enough to accept and embrace our imperfections and willing to change course and adapt, we will be graced with resilience, strength, and humility. Perhaps the biggest key to learning from failure is the critical distinction that failure is a matter of personal interpretation. Once you learn to frame your failures properly, you know how to overcome them. Humility, compassion for ourselves and others, perspective, strength, resilience, and a strong sense of purpose are just some of the many gifts they may choose to receive on their way back up. Number 12, doing something selfless. When we are younger, by design, we are focused on ourselves. On our own happiness, gains, and security. But as we mature, we begin to see the world through others' eyes. We develop compassion. We fall in love. We feel joy and excitement for our loved ones' accomplishments and happiness. When we realize that we are doing something entirely for the benefit of another, we are truly selfless and loving. Volunteering, giving the gift of our time, attention, or energy to another, helping make someone else's dreams come true, or saving someone's life are all examples of how we may express this more advanced type of love and compassion. In acting selflessly, we reap the immediate rewards of good feelings and an increase in our own happiness. The overarching and profound life lesson for this important life milestone is a realization that we are all connected to one another and that we are not alone after all. Number 13, hitting rock bottom. This is going to be different for everyone, but its potential impact on our lives is the same for all who face this heavy milestone. Our personal low point could be as seemingly benign as dealing with any of the failures mentioned above. It could be brought on through struggles with addiction, money troubles, loneliness and isolation, mental health issues, or illness and injury. It does not discriminate. Anyone from the loftiest, most beloved, and popular to the lowliest and most marginalized can experience being in this place of despair and hopelessness. Hitting rock bottom can and does often prove to be a pivotal turning point in a person's life, as they learn what is really important in life and what they are truly capable of. To summarize. As mentioned, not everyone experiences all of the milestones listed above. But we all experience major milestones in life that help us reflect on where we have been, who we have met, and what we have done. What have been your experiences as you work through these various milestones? Were there any major milestones that we missed? Please comment below.